Hello everyone, welcome to my channel and thank you for taking the time to watch this video. So today I'm going to present the Dragon Tarot as part of the deck review systems that I do. I hope you've been watching all these deck reviews that I've been doing. I've enjoyed doing them, but I hope they're giving you some kind of insight or maybe helping you make decisions on how to actually buy cards. You know, if you see them first, at least you know about what's going on in the deck before you actually invest in it. So this Dragon Tarot has been produced by Peter Pracownik and Terry Donaldson, and it was produced in 1996, so it's a pretty old deck, but I thought it was very pertinent. I mean, I think it still stands the test of time. It's a very beautiful deck. It's a fantasy deck, but it's still based on the Rider-Waite system. So there might be a little bit of deviation on the cards, the pips actually, but not too much. So if you've learned the standard Rider-Waite, you can easily use this and actually even enhance your reading by seeing the extra meanings within the imagery of the cards themselves. So it has been produced by US Game System, and you can see that's written on the deck. It comes in this kind of standard box that's got purple on the outside here and sort of greens and purples with dragons on the front of it. So, you know, it's still it's based on that Dragons and Dungeons era, long gone, but definitely based on that. And you know, talking about dragons being, you know, the first seers or the first psychics that man had available to them. So, you know, and it allows you to access your spiritual side. Well, that's what they say about the deck itself. So. It's a very standard kind of box. You know, it's an old deck, so the box has stood the test of time, but it's got a little bit of wear and tear on it. But still, you know, keeping the cards pretty well, pretty nicely. And it does tell you on the side of there, created and illustrated by Peter Pracownik under the direction of Terry Donaldson. Okay, so let's have a look at this deck. I'm sure if you handle the box too much, it will fall apart eventually. So it comes with this little white book. It's like a very standard book. You know, it's got this very standard meanings on it. So, like I said, if you know the Rider-Waite system, this should be a walk in the park for you. It tells you a little bit about the Dragon Tarot in it. So I'll just go through the book itself. A little bit about the Dragon Tarot in it, and then it goes through the major arcana, and here it gives you the upright as well as reversed meanings, as you can see. So pretty easy to read. You know, the print is pretty good. The explanations are quite simple. It's you know, it just gets to the point. There's no faffing around really. So that goes to the major arcana, then it goes to the minor arcana, and it goes through the suit of coins, and let's see. You've got the suit of swords, wands, and cups. So pretty standard here. And at the end, it tells you about how to read the cards, a little bit how to read the cards. And it gives you the Celtic cross spread as well. So I have seen that here. Oh. There you go. Gives you the Celtic cross spread, tells you what each particular position means. And then in the end, a little bit about the author and the person that drew it, which is Peter Pracownik. So that's the standard little white book. You can put it in your pocket, you know, put it in your purse, easy to keep. It'll take you about 5 minutes to read that book, not anything too complicated. So the deck itself, it's 80 cards. Usually it gets printed in 80 cards, and there are usually 2 cards that are extra, and you've got a little bit about, you know, it's a little card with the author's name and the illustrator on it, and you've got a little bit about the Dragon Tarot and what it actually means, the dragon, you know, the dragon land on which this particular deck is based. So the cardstock itself is pretty good. It's a standard size, you know, playing tarot deck. Fits nicely into your palm of your hands. It's got good cardstock. There's a purple background with 4 dragons at each corner, and it's got a white border here. So, you know, it's pretty good. Not too shiny, and shuffles pretty well too. So it's divided into that major and minor arcana. So the major arcana cards we'll go through very quickly, and then I'll take you through the minor arcana. Now, I bought this deck because I really do like the fact that it's got the symbols on it. So it's got the astrological symbols on the card itself, if you can see. It's got the astrological symbols on the card itself. And with the minor arcana, it's got elemental symbols on it. So it has got the astrology on the minor arcana that you can always put in if you are so inclined, but it definitely has it on the major arcana here. So that I like reading with astrology. It gives you a little bit more information about what that card is. So this is the Fool card. So it's not going to look at all like the usual Fool, but you can see, it's got a little bit about what's going on. You can see this dragon. There's a lot of drama going on over here. You've got this Uranus energy coming in over here. You've got this. It's sort of a harp or a lyre, so it's something making music, starting off something new, and he's also got the 4 playing cards over here, so maybe alluding to the fact that these used to be playing card decks as well in the past. Also, it might be alluding to the fact that it's about all the elements here. So it's got swords, diamonds, clubs, and hearts over here. So you've got all the 4 elements available to you to move forward. So this is, you have to look at this deck pretty closely, to get that new imagery that is coming on. And this is starting off afresh. So this is, new bubbles of existence. And this is almost like the new universe budding off, so something brand new coming in over here. So this is the Fool card. This is the Magician. And you can see the Mercury over here. And then you've got the High Priestess here. And here she's sitting in front of her cauldron with this new rainbow coming out. So, yin yang, there's the moon, there's also the earth there. So, and you've got the 2 pillars. So you've got the elements of the Rider-Waite in it. This is the Empress here. There's a new egg hatched over here, carrying the baby. And you've got the sign of Venus over there. And then you've got the Emperor card over here, and you can see him sitting on his throne. So you've got that element. Only these are not human figures. These are now replaced by dragons. And you can actually see, you've got that element going on over here. So this is the card ruled by Aries. And you've got the Hierophant over here, ruled by Taurus. The Lovers. And this is ruled by Gemini. You can see the 2 dragons here, the yin-yang sign there. You've got the Chariot here, and he has got a chariot being pulled by 2 other dragons. It's a sign of Cancer and taking off. And this is the Strength card. So you've got the traditional lion there. And, this Caduceus does appear in the Strength card as well. So, you've got those elements still appearing through, and it's the sign of Leo. So this is the Hermit, and it's ruled by Virgo, and you've got his little lamp there. And then you've got the Wheel of Fortune, and you can see all the zodiac signs in this wheel turning, but it's also a card that's ruled by Jupiter. So there's almost 2 wheels over here going on. And this wheel has got a compass in it, so, there's extra meanings to it, so you can read that as something extra. You've got the Justice card here, ruled by Libra. And you've got the Hanging Dragon. Now, this is a deviation in the name. This is usually the Hanging Man or the Hanged Man, but he's called it the Hanging Dragon here. And it's a Neptune-ruled card. Then you've got the Death card here. It's a skeletal dragon, and there's the Hourglass over here. So, things coming to an end, changes happening. The Temperance card. And you've still got the Cups, which is an important element. He's brought out the important elements within the card. And this is ruled by Sagittarius. Then the Devil card, which is ruled by Capricorn. The Tower. Still the Tower there being broken down. The Mars energy coming through. You've got the Star, which is ruled by Aquarius. And this is the Moon card. You still got those 2 pillars here and the Crayfish. So you are getting those elements coming through. If you're lost when you're reading this card, you can actually see it immediately. You've got the Sun card, and it's got, almost like a wheel going on over here, a cycle going on with all the astrology in it. But you've got sun, and you've got all these sunflowers as well in it. So very beautifully designed, very intricate. You've got the Judgment card here, and this is ruled by Pluto. And the World, which is ruled by Saturn. And instead of having, animals at the corners, he's got the astrological symbols of all the fixed signs. So you've got Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius at the corners there. So those are the major arcana. Now this is the minor arcana. This is the Ace of Swords. So like I told you, it's got the elemental at the bottom, so this is the sign for air, and it starts off with that. So it's not too. This is not too different from the actual deck itself. You've got the Two of Swords over here. This deviates a little bit. You've got a scales over here, end of a cycle. So making decisions, making fair decisions. You've got the Three of Swords over here. This looks very much like the traditional card. Then you've got the Four of Swords over here. That's taking a rest and contemplating. The Five of Swords, it's almost very pip based, this particular thing, but it's got illustrations on the pips. So you've got Five of Swords over here. You can see the arguments or dissension that is happening there. And this is the Six of Swords, the Seven of Swords, the Eight of Swords. This is still being blindfolded and held within those swords itself, so being confused and frustrated and trapped. So you've got the Nine of Swords over here. You can see this dragon's disappearing because he's so full of anxiety. And then you've got the Ten of Swords over here. And you've got the swords actually, he more means being stuck in those swords over there. So this is the Page of Swords, the Knight of Swords, the Queen of Swords, and the King of Swords. So this is the Ace of Coins, the Two of Coins, the Three of Coins, the Four of Coins, the Five of Coins, Six of Coins, Seven of Coins, Eight of Coins, Nine of Coins, 10 of Coins, the Page of Coins, the Knight of Coins, Queen of Coins, and the King of Coins. So they are, they do have a lot of, elements in it. You do need to know your meanings of the cards, I would think, before reading it. I haven't used this deck to read with, but you do have to have a little bit of familiarity with, the traditional Rider-Waite deck before you start deviating. And that's the reason why I introduced Rider-Waite decks first with all the traditional symbology before bringing in the cards that are a bit more difficult to read, that require a lot more intuition when you're reading it, as opposed to, being able to just see the picture and give an idea about what the card means. So this is the Ace of Wands, the Two of Wands, the Three of Wands, Four of Wands, the Five of Wands, and like I said, you've got the elemental sign over there. The Six of Wands, the Seven of Wands, the Eight of Wands, the Nine of Wands, the 10 of Wands. This is the Page of Wands, the Knight of Wands, the Queen of Wands, and the King of Wands. Then you've got the Ace of Cups, the Two of Cups, the Three of Cups. This is what dragons do when they get together with friends. Okay, you've got the Four of Cups here, the Five of Cups. This looks like the Loch Ness Monster, really. The Six of Cups, the Seven of Cups, the Eight of Cups, the Nine of Cups. Now, this is the wish fulfillment, so this is what a satisfied dragon looks like. You've got the 10 of Cups here, this is the Page of Cups, the Knight of Cups, the Queen of Cups, and the King of Cups. So even the colors of the backgrounds as you go through the suits, they change. You can see there is a distinct difference. The fire, you can see there's much more yellow and orange. The cups are much more grays and blues. So they are changing. The coins have got more green in them. So there is a little bit of change in color. So it's not a standard, or it's not boring really. So like I said, it's got a lot of, there's a little bit of deviation from the Rider-Waite. It's got a lot of the elements of the Rider-Waite, but it's not exact. And you do need to know your Rider-Waite decks before you actually start branching out. Now, I don't think I would recommend this for somebody starting out the tarot. This is not a deck to learn on. If you're a bit shaky on your feet about reading tarot decks, this is surely not a deck for you to read on. You need to actually be very, very familiar with the Rider-Waite decks, and those are beautiful decks. I still think there's nothing that compares with the Rider-Waite decks for starting off, and even if you're an advanced reader, there are beautiful decks to read. They are just, so upfront and very honest. But if you want to use something different, now that you've, become more familiar with tarot decks, or you want to read more imagery, and adapt the deck to suit your mood, these are the decks to go for. So this Dragon Tarot, it's a very atmospheric deck, I think, and it's got some hidden meanings in it. So you will find, apart from, you can build on your Rider-Waite symbology very, very easily. They're easy to shuffle, and it's something different. So I do recommend buying it. It's not expensive at all, and it's quite a fun deck if you're into all of this dragons and dungeons and all this fantasy thing that is going on at the moment, Lord of the Rings trilogies. These are the decks to be using with that. I love all of that kind of literature. I think I must have read loads of books with that kind of fantasy theme to it. So this deck does appeal to me. I like the coloring of it, and like I said, it's very atmospheric, very fantasy based, and it's got that ancient modern kind of feel to it. So a beautiful deck. And I hope you give it a try. If you can get it, off eBay, secondhand, a really nice deck if you get it on the cheap. But, if you have to buy it new, it's really, not expensive. And it's quite a beautiful deck, actually, to use. And like I said, it's good. It's not nice to just stick to the Rider-Waite decks. You need to branch out in order for you to otherwise it gets stale. So in order for you to develop your intuitive skills, this is a good deck to actually use itself. And it's quite easy, it's not too far away. You're not going to feel like you've been thrown in the deep end and don't know how to swim when you're reading this deck. It's something that you can get through, and it's something that's quite enjoyable. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this particular deck review, and please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and go and buy the deck. So click on the link and go and buy the deck and have a look at it, and start using it. The more people get in touch with their psychic side, I think the better the world will be, because we'll be much more understanding of everybody else's problems once we see, what problems there are out there and how people are so brave and how they deal with all these problems. And you get that, you get that feel about how people are coping with things when you are reading the tarot. And I'm very impressed that people have come through so much and are doing it with such courage. I absolutely enjoy reading the tarot for that particular reason. So give it a try. And I hope you've enjoyed this deck review, and take care. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.